If you're interested in learning about careers but don't always have time, the Interviewing People 10-minute highlight shows are the solution. This week's highlights are from my interview with KiaLynne Bland, who is a program leader at Bittersweet Farms. KiaLynne will be sharing about her degree in social work and serving people with autism. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the highlights of our conversation.
So I actually started out as a journalism major, but I never really officially ended up doing that, obviously, because I ended up doing social work. I intended to go in as a journalism major, but then right before I ended up actually starting classes, maybe in about late July, early August, I switched to social work just because I realized I really like helping people and I wanted to work more in the helping field and assisting the vulnerable population, I guess. So that's kind of what made me switch career paths, and that's how I kind of ended up going with social work at BGSU. In January, I accepted this promotion that was offered to me as program leader, which is a step up from what my previous position was. So that entails me managing two of the homes that Bittersweet provides to adults on the autism spectrum. So Bittersweet Farms provides day services, like day program services, and residential home services to adults on the autism spectrum. And there are different homes on throughout the Bittersweet Farms location. And so I manage two of the houses. So I'm kind of like what they call a house manager.
So does that mean you live there all the time, or is that something you go there on a daily basis? How does that work?
So I go there, I work full time. So I work there, I'm probably there a little over 40 hours a week, helping out the residents who work there. So I make up grocery lists for them. I order house supplies for the houses. I help supervise and manage the staff that work there. So I'm kind of kind of like a supervisor to many of the staff who work at Bittersweet. And I handle the on-call phone once a month to report any incidents that happen at the homes. So I don't necessarily live there, of course, but I do a lot of the management that requires the house to function, involving supplies and care of the residents, and just relays information involving incidents to my supervisors. I feel like my purpose, I guess, for my life is to just help people who are in need. That's really what I wanted to do, going into college. When I first started at BGSU, I joined a learning community that really promoted diversity, inclusion, service work, community work on campus and off campus. So I kind of knew right off the bat that I wanted to help people, but working at Bittersweet and becoming a program leader and stepping up in my position at Bittersweet, it's kind of allowed me to fulfill my purpose because I just know that I'm making a difference in someone else's lives, and I know that even the littlest things, it can make a difference, and it can really impact people positively in ways that we didn't know. So I feel like fulfilling a purpose has different meanings to different people, um, but that's just how I feel going into my role at Bittersweet and staying there. One thing that I didn't know about social work, I kind of just went into social work, not really, I knew about the field, but I didn't know a whole lot about what it entailed. But going into social work, you can mainly choose any population that you want to work with. And so I think that's very cool, and that you can kind of switch it around to with careers, because a lot of my professors would say that they went into social work wanting to work with kids, but then later they switched their career path and start working with adults or with the older population. So I think that's something to consider with social work, is that it's not it's a defining career, but at the same time you can change within it. And so you can choose to work with mental health, or you can work with the homeless population, or with children, or with poverty or domestic violence or anything like that. But you can always kind of go from that, or grow from that. And a lot of things that I learned while being a social work major is the career paths that you choose or the population that you choose within social work, they're very intertwined. So let's say you decide to work in child welfare. Just because you're working a lot with children doesn't mean that you won't be working with adults, because like obviously children have parents or they have grandparents who take care of them, so you'll be working with the adult population. And a lot of times, like with child welfare, you'll be working a lot with mental health. And so just because you focus on one population doesn't mean that you'll necessarily be only focused on that population. I think that's really important to understand while going into social work. If you go into like a helping profession, like such as social work or becoming like a caregiver or anything of that aspect, it's really important to like take care of yourself too. Like self-care is very important within social work and the helping professions, because you're going to be given a lot of your time to like help other people, but it's also important to like help yourself. So whether that's taking a day off or taking a break and watching your favorite TV show, or going out with your friends, or just like eating your favorite foods or taking a nap, like I think self-care is very important, because I learned a lot about that in my final semester at BGSU, because like I said, you'll be working a lot with people who have a lot of trauma or who have a lot of, past experiences that you'll hear about that can be really unsettling. So taking that time for yourself is very important. With relationships, I feel like it's really important to like just build them from the start, and kind of like start off with like, obviously like you want to like continue and to form a positive relationship. And so a lot of the relationships that I formed like wow at Project Hope, it just kind of like helped me prepare for my position at Bittersweet, because I learned how meaningful it is to have a good relationship with your supervisor, because I had like kind of like a supervisor while I volunteered at Project Hope. And then I also learned the value of like forming relationships with the clients who went to Project Hope for therapy. So I worked a lot with like children who had autism, and I worked a lot with like adults who had mental health issues. And so forming those relationships and learning how to like talk to them and approach them, it really helped going and like understanding how to approach my residents at Bittersweet, because to you it might look like a job, or to you it might look like a volunteer experience, but to them it's like their lives. And so it's important to like consider that and realize that, and to try to form the best relationships you can, because that'll really help you in your future career. Something that I find like very valuable is just like helping people like in their daily lives. Like a lot of people, like a lot of my friends or a lot of my classmates would always say like, oh, that doesn't seem like very appealing to me, or oh, I could never do that. But I just like helping people like in their daily lives, because like we don't understand how fortunate we are to like bathe ourselves, or to take care of ourselves, or to drive, or to have a job, or to even like eat on our own. And lots of people who I work with on the autism spectrum, they can't even talk, they can't read, they don't know how to process their emotions. And like sometimes I think sometimes we take not advantage of that, but we just don't understand how like beneficial it is to us. And so that's something I really value working in my field that other people may not understand or realize, is that just the importance it is to like help people become as independent as we are in our daily lives. Project Hope is a really great place, because I volunteered there during my college career, and there are some clients who are on the autism spectrum who go to Project Hope, which, provides like therapy for them and whatnot. So that's a really great place. And Bittersweet does, not currently because of COVID, but they did do a lot of volunteer work where they have like high schoolers and college students come in and volunteer during the summer. And like during because they have like a summer enrichment program, which provides more services to like day services to adolescents on the autism spectrum. So we had people come in to do that. But as far as like volunteer experiences and opportunities at Bittersweet, we currently don't have any right now just because of the current situation. But you could always volunteer at like, there's always like Hancock County and Wood County Board of Developmental Disabilities that you could volunteer at. I know there are more places like in the BG area, like such as Sunshine Children's Homes, and more residential programs like Bittersweet that provide like opportunities to like get involved with this population.
Thank you for watching this episode showing highlights of the latest interview with KiaLynne Bland. And to make your Mondays better than ever, subscribe so you can hear more career stories from those who are actually doing the work. Thank you for watching, and as always, remember the best part about Mondays is interviewing people.